This is
a farmer's
media.
A farmer's media.
We tell you the stories of African farmers.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and for anyone who is viewing us in a different time zone, good afternoon, good evening, and hello, everyone. My name is June. This is a Farmers Media, a show called Farm Girls.
Boga for 2 pieces of skuma wiki for 20 shillings, yet I'm growing my own.
Okay. People, what we're hearing is that we have different types of indoors. We have those ones for aesthetics. We have those ones
where people are being discriminated. Right now, people are taking it so positively. They're just taking it like any other disease. So we've come a long way, and it's a good thing.
And the theme of this year, the 8th day, is to rock the ribbon, where the National AIDS Trust is. They are working hard to stop the spread of HIV, and also they are working to stop the cases and securing the rights of those people living with HIV and AIDS, and also fighting the discriminations.
Yeah, I believe all of us, we have a role to play in ending stigma and infection of HIV. And firstly, we need to look at point of educating ourselves. We have a lot of information about HIV, but for those ones who do not have this information, can we create awareness? How can we spread this information to them? And another thing is, as a Farmers Media, we work with farmers, and we are advocating for people living with HIV to have nutritious and balanced meals, because they are on ART. That means they need to take their medication well, and also they need to have balanced meals. What is a balanced meal for you?
For me, I think you notice even when you have a flu, like Kenyans usually have remedies for everything. Trust me, when the moment you ask someone, hey, I have this flu that is persistent, have you tried? Have you tried? Have you tried? So as much as this information is out there, we are lucky to be living in a country where people are willing to share, even not knowing the background or why you're having this flu for some time. So for me, my go-to remedies are the dawa. The dawa is queen for everything. That is a good way of boosting your immune system. And then I just shared something with Jackie the other day where I was telling her, there's this smoothie that I take every morning. And even Zippy saw me yesterday, and she was like,
detox gals. Yeah. Detox.
And she was like, kwani unakunywa uji asubuhi? And then I told her, it's just, I do bananas, milk, and peanut butter and honey. So it's a good smoothie. It's almost like a shake, a protein shake.
Oh, yeah.
So it really boosts your proteins, and it's a good immune booster. So that's a tip, guys.
Yeah, share me. That's the secrets off camera. And for you, Zippy, your go-to balanced meals.
Balanced meals. How to say? You just take healthy and our this generation, we just take cheapo. Cheapo
chicken in.
In the morning, we just take bread. The KDF, I don't know. We're supposed to take these, they are called arrowroots, sweet potatoes, cassava, and yam. There was a day she gave me arrowroots in the morning. Then I was like, I usually take these ninis, the mikates and whatever in the morning. Then she was like, you should try this. Let's see whether it works.
So we embrace the healthy living.
Yeah.
We take nduma. We take arrowroot,
those traditional
foods.
Yeah.
So for me, I try to incorporate a lot of vegetables in my diet, and something about eating rice and waru. Waru is potatoes for those ones who are not Kenyans. That's not eating right. So let us try and eat balanced. Then that is a carbohydrates, a protein, and some vegetables for vitamins. So today, this is Farm Girls, and when people think about Farm Girls, they think of a lady in torn clothing with an old djembe. So we are farm girls.
We are looking good.
We are looking very nice, and you can see very beautiful women with very beautiful sounds and voice.
Yeah.
People. So for stereotypes, before we introduce the topic of the day, for what is one of the stereotypes that you have heard about farming for women?
For me, I think women are usually told utawezana. Like, even the moment you tell someone, I'm a farmer, they look at you twice. Like, how? What do you farm? Ama unafarmingi kwa balcony. Like, women are so stereotyped to the extent that people believe they cannot be large-scale farmers.
Oh, interesting.
The moment you say, especially as a young woman, the moment you say you're a farmer, someone says, is it because you never got a job? You don't have a career.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have a white-collar job. That's because we look at farming as an option. And women have been stereotyped to look at farming as a way of earning something on the side.
Like it is not their main source of income.
It's not. They will be like, really? You're a farmer? Or you just do it on the side? Do you have like a kitchen garden somewhere? Not knowing, women are now venturing into large-scale farming, and they're doing acres and acres of land, and they're even empowering other women through it. Yeah.
That is a good point. And for you, Zippy?
She has said it all. I just second her.
Okay. So for all our viewers and those ones who are listening to us, kindly know that women can do large-scale farming, and we are trying to give this information that we should not stereotype farming for women, and we can actually do supplies for even processing farms and all that, and also farming can be done as a main source of income. And did you know, like 40% of Kenyans actually have ventured into agriculture? And 70% of those ones are living in rural areas. 70% of those people living in rural areas are actually farmers. So why are we stereotyping farming to be a side hustle
Imagine.
and not the main source of income? So coming to the main topic of the day, we are talking about the benefits of indoor farming. And in this generation, there's something, because this is a ladies' show, there's something called a plant mom. Are you a plant mom? And who is a plant mom?
I think for me, June, that's I've had that debate with people for so long, and I'm one of those people who are just like, I give you a side eye. I know, guys, don't come for me. But for me, I feel like when you talk about Generation Z, everyone is a plant mom. And for those who don't know, a plant mom is someone who buys a house plant and they come and take care of it. And they take care of it to the point where it's like a child, you know. And I'm coming from a place where I'm a mother, so my own child gets me tired. Like I want to sell. You know, that point where you're so exhausted to the point where you're like I can't even deal with a pet.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've seen it all raising kids. So for me, I usually think for someone to maintain a plant to the point where they feel I'm a plant mom, it's like you haven't seen it all. Like this is just, I can imagine watering your plants, and people say it's therapeutic. I don't know. June will correct me on that. But I always feel, there's more to it than just being a plant mom.
Okay. And Zippy, do you have any plants, or do you know who is a plant mom?
Okay, I've heard that from Fiona right now, but I also heard you the other day, you talked about something that you have some plants in your house. Yeah, so I think that's also your plant mom.
Yes, I am. I was trying to say for the phrase of a plant mom. I didn't want that thing of a plant mom because the name mom.
Yeah, there's more to it. Yeah,
there is more to it. But now I have accepted I am a plant mom. I own I have plants in my house. I have a succulent. I have other leafy plants. And now for Gen Z, they call it a plant mom. We must move with times. The trend is call yourself a plant mom. So I am a plant mom.
And June, let me ask you. Let me pose this question. Do you do it for aesthetic value? Why do you have plants in your home? Is it for aesthetic value, or there's more to it?
Okay, one of the things I had, the first plant that I had in my house, I still have it, was a gift from my sister. So it was a gift, and she introduced me now to indoor plants. So it is a way of to show that you can nurture something. As women, we are nurturers.
Yeah.
So for the plant the first thing was, can you nurture something? And you see, before someone once told me, before you become a mother, which is not actually the rule of motherhood, but she was saying that before you become a mother, can you see that you can nurture something? You can have a pet, you can have a plant. So for her, she was saying, I start with a plant. And now that one just brought out the nurturing side of me. And also for a commitment. When you live alone, I live alone. So you have something like to keep you engaged. When you come home from work, you need to do something. You water your plants, something like that, so that you have a routine that is kind of engaging. Just don't come and feel, I have nothing to do. You don't have a life past outside work. So it's something to engage yourself and build commitment. So the nurturing come in with the commitment where it does not die.
Okay. Because I see people, I am social media a lot. So I see these trends where people are like, my plant died. It's so heartbreaking. It's so so you realize someone has even a routine, and people are coming with they're coming with what tips on how you can take care of the plants. It's a whole movement on its own.
Yeah. And the one thing also about the plants dying is not because they are not watering it enough. Different plants have different needs. We have like succulents, like the one that we have here on studio. This one you can water it once or twice in a week. So you can go away for a week and leave it in your home and it will not die. Then we have the needy ones that you have to water them every single day.
Ooh.
And then the amount of water that you're actually even putting on these plants.
Yeah.
You don't have to put, and then you don't have to put a lot, and then also plants take a bath, indoor plants. You know why we call them a bath is because you see, for plants that are outdoor, the rain will come, it's a care.
Yeah.
Now they will be water. So you need to take them for a bath where water just drips all over the plants.
True. Hold that thought. Let me ask you. We are living in urban settlements where you realize, and sisi watu wa Kajiado, we know kuna issue ya maji. There's an issue when it comes to water. So you realize sometimes if you're living in an apartment, and Zippy can attest to this, you come home, sometimes water has not been pumped. And like you've said, these plants need water. They're taking a bath.
Yeah.
You're living in an apartment where water is limited, and you see the way the way people living in apartments, kwa balcony, kuna everything that can store water. Watu wangu apartments, no offense, but you realize kwa apartments nyingi in Nairobi, there's somewhere on the corner, there are tanks, there's everything that can store water. So I'm trying to imagine, and even it's the same concept on Mombasa Road, on the expressway, where we have flowers, we have those poles with the flowers. You've all seen this?
Yeah, some have died. Unfortunately,
yes,
a lot have died.
But the other day I saw them watering them. It was in an evening. Then I was so curious to know what are they doing. Then I told the one we were with, Ebu, slow down kidogo, I need to see what they are doing. Then he was like, okay, you are a farm girl right now, so if you want to observe everything going on, yeah.
So what I can say is when we are getting plants, we need to know at what time, how needy is the plant and how can they be watered. So you see, for example, you can take an example of the expressway. Is most likely to be, that one can be like indoor because it does not have direct source of light and water. So you see, they have died because we didn't know, the people the managing people did not know how to water them, so they died. So for situations like people who live in Kajiado where there's a water crisis or water is not regular, try and get plants that can sit well with your environment. For example, like for the succulents, they thrive in deserts. Like a cacti is a succulent.
Yeah.
So those ones can stay longer without water because they hold on to water. Try and get plants that you can now you can water them according to your environment. Do not get plants that that need water 2 times in a day.
Yeah, and you're living
And
in a
you're living
semi-arid
in
area.
where water is scarce. When buying plants, go to those plant yards. Tell them this is the situation. I do not have access to water every single day of the day. So which plant suits me? So that we cannot leave you have admired having a plant and now you feel like you can be left behind without a plant at home. And you see the plant actually serves a lot of benefits. Leave alone aesthetics, because we are in a generation of aesthetics. We need something to look beautiful. And yeah. So do you know of some of the benefits that the plants comes for indoor plants?
For me, I feel now we are in an urban setting where land is scarce. Majority of people are living in apartments, and even if you have the privilege of living in your own compound, you realize it's not that big. The land is limited. So with the indoor farming, I feel it's more beneficial for feeding families in urban areas. So if we can adopt to different types of urban farming, like vertical farming, that is a good way of growing your vegetables indoors, and it will sustain your family for months. Because if you do it well, it just keeps on giving. So it's a good way of sustaining families in terms of food. Yeah, so that if we don't have enough land to farm, at least we have something that is guaranteed. Because we are getting to with the effects of climate change, and you've even noticed the country has faced drought that was so severe, and people were dying of hunger, animals were starving to death. So you can imagine in urban setup or anywhere, if people were growing their own produce. Like in your balcony, you have a vertical garden there and you're growing your spinach and skuma. Me, I'm growing something else, she's growing something else. Would we be facing the challenges we are facing now? Even the food prices would have reduced, because I cannot go to Mama Mboga for 2 pieces of skuma wiki for 20 shillings, yet I'm growing my own.
Okay. People, what we're hearing is that we have different types of indoors. We have those ones for aesthetics, we have those ones for livelihood. What you're talking about is a kitchen garden for people who do not have the luxury of having a garden or a farm.
Yes.
So we should not only focus on the plants which are offering aesthetics to our homes, but can we diversify a way that we can actually even get the vegetables? We started the show talking about balanced meals, and we were saying we want to incorporate a lot of vegetables in our meals. So can we now have those the kitchen gardens at our apartments, at the balcony? And maybe Zippy can tell us, have you seen people who have practiced kitchen gardening on their balconies?
Yeah, very many of them, by the way. I think so. It's an easy way of accessing food, and not just those fresh food, just fresh vegetables. Because when you go to a Mama Mboga apple, you don't, the cabbages or the wherever the greens, they make up for a long time there. So I think so. It's an easy way to access fresh vegetables for your family. Yeah.
Ah, that is a good point. When we have these kitchen gardens in our homes, we have more control of actually eating fresh produce. Yeah. So can we also now talk about having indoor plants with climate change?
Oh yeah.
So how does it benefit in terms of climate change? We can take an example of areas, arid areas, where there are no trees, and there are no trees. And even for urban settlements, like in Nairobi, a lot of people in these estates, they're on high-rise buildings, which are apartments. There are no trees.
Yeah, there are no trees.
There are no trees. There is no breeze.
There is no, if it's hot, it's hot.
If it is hot, it is hot. So can we talk about now, what are there, do you know of benefits of now having these indoor plants in terms of climate change?
For me, with the intense effects of climate change, we are headed there. You see, a country like China is the leading country in urban farming or in indoor farming. Because why? countries like that, when you visit, they're skyscrapers buildings. Like they at no point, and you know, a country like China, they have experienced harsh environmental conditions like hurricanes, you know, earthquakes. So imagine facing that as a country for so long. You will have no space for farming because the land is it's disaster after disaster, and these people are more focused on technology. And you realize these are countries that have created vertical farming to the point of skyscrapers. Like you see one story building and it's full of vegetables, fruits and vegetables. And they have adopted mini aquaponics, hydroponics. So if Kenya, we can take that path, trust me, that will be just one of the ways to curb a few effects of climate change. It will be one of the ways to curb hunger. It will be a way, it will even be a way of education for our kids, for generations to come. Because you realize if we are all living somewhere where we have a bit of space and you start planting, and there are so many types. You can do vertical farming, you can do hydroponics. So when you start doing it and your child is watching, trust me, we will have a generation that knows where their food comes from. Because right now, the Generation Z, they don't appreciate food that much. And that's why you've said people would rather eat the fries, the chicken, the pizzas. It's quick fix. You just go, get whatever you're getting. They don't even appreciate farmers.
Yeah.
And if you can imagine if these kids grow up knowing mom planted spinach, and spinach takes this duration of time to grow, and when it's ready, it looks like this. You know, there'll be that appreciation of farmers, appreciation of food, and that will help us curb things like food waste and food loss. Because right now you realize we have a generation where something spoils, they throw. They don't even understand there's something like compost. You remember when we were talking, there's a guy we talked to, Dr. Dominic, who said right now they are using food waste to create biogas. Like, who knew? For me, I was just like, again? Because that is an innovation that I would have thought would come from first world countries. And it's happening right here behind our backs, where the food that is, you see the way you throw away your food.
Yeah.
They collect that food, they decompose it to the point where it creates biogas.
Okay, and you see, you have mentioned something. We are not at an advantage like China, which is a first world. We are a third world country.
Yes.
But something that I have seen is through the internet, we have the same resources as those ones. We can now read things on the internet and say this is now something we can do to curb climate change. And you see, for urban areas where they have high-rise buildings, where people are actually, because there is a lot of people who are living in a small town, like in Nairobi. Nairobi is not that big, but there are a lot of residents. So that means a lot of trees will be cut down.
Yeah.
But how can we mitigate that? We can have these outdoor plants, or indoor plants, and even for the outdoors ones at our balconies and in our homes to bring a breeze. See, the breeze. To bring the breeze in and to bring even good and quality air to the home. So you see, when for high heat, when there is high heat, it has a negative effect on our health. So we are in this situation now as we speak. So we want people to embrace the lifestyle of having indoor plants, not only for aesthetics, not only even just for another source of food where they can have like more vegetables intake, but also for a climate change reason.
Yes.
We are in a dire situation. We have a chance to do that. We can improve on our intake on vegetables. We can have good and beautiful homes, and we can solve our climate change issues by just having indoor plants.
Yes.
Imagine as simple as that.
As simple as that. It doesn't take you for those. And you remember, ZP, when we started doing this, we were so skeptical about farming. We're like, for who? ZP was like, I'm not getting dirty. I'm not ruining my nails. But you realize right now, things have been simplified. You can do your indoor farming, and it's a way of learning. It's a way of even just knowing to what extent you get your spinach on your plate.
Just to divert a little bit, have you ever, what is your interaction with a farm? Now that I'm had of nails, they don't want the nails to be dirty. And we are talking about women. We hope that will not be stereotyped that women do not like to get their nails dirty. Mm-hmm. What is your interaction in a farm?
For me, I remember vividly the first time I looked at farming was a retirement option. Like I wouldn't, at no point in my life would I ever consider farming. Farming is it's not clean. You have to get down and dirty. You have to get your hands dirty. You have to sweat in there. You have to do all you can do. So for me, I was just looking at that and I'm like, I'm not. But I guess working in a farming organization for some time, I just realized there's more to that. The beauty of seeing something that you've planted grow. It comes with so much therapy. Like I remember for me, the first time I was challenged by my boss, he gave me a small piece of land. Just a small piece of land, and he was like, you plant there whatever you want to plant. And I did beetroot, I did skooma, I did spinach, and I was doing it organically. The only thing I was doing is watering. And trust me, these things grew to the point that I got a beetroot this size. Like it was so big, and for the first time it was tiresome. I was just like, hey, apana. But then the beauty of seeing the crops grow and the beauty of you going there every morning and just checking the progress, it did so much to me. And it put me in a place where everything can be done. It's just your mentality and how you look at things. And I think that is the same mentality that young people have. You walk into a farm and you just think about kuchoka, kuchafuka. But what we don't teach young people is the beauty of growing something of your own, something you can call your own. You see the way they tell women, pesa yako ni tamu. You know, your money, the moment you touch hivi pesa yako, it's so good, and like someone keeps handing it over to you. So the same mentality should be passed on to the young people. There's so much beauty, there's so much therapy in growing something from scratch. The moment you put that seed on the ground, you watch it grow, you water it. Like you've just said, plants put you in they give you some sort of responsibility. Yeah, so that's my perception.
So the first time you interacted with farming?
Then I was very young. I was used to be given a small portion of shamba. Then I remember my dad used to teach me how to plant cabbage. Then we would go and he told me we should mix the soil with water. Then I said, I'm getting that, but after all, see they are growing. If they have been cut by a worm, then you are like, you feel like giving up, but you have to continue. Then I started growing the herbs, then to small herbs, and then we did carrots, and it was very nice. By the way, the whole shamba, my carrots were the first one to germinate. Then everyone was like, hey, how did you do it? I just did it like them, but I don't know how I did it, but they were the first one to germinate. And finally now I have I have planted some tomatoes. I'm very happy they are germinating. I'm there each and every month. Good. It's not all about si lazima uchafuke, si lazima uende kwa shamba. Place I have the tomatoes, sio kwa shamba. It's kind of a vertical farming.
That's a vertical farm.
Yeah, that's why I have my tomatoes.
Yeah, so for me, one thing about farming, I come from a lineage of farmers. Like my grandparents and my great-grandparents were farmers. So I can speak of my grandparents at tea plantation and cereal farmers. And then for now, my parents, now they are also, they have ventured into more of maize farming, beans farming. And now the thing about me, I grew up in the deep end of farming because we are doing it for large scale. I have, for the small scale, we've never done it for small scale. The only thing that we do is we have kitchen gardens, but any other produce is sold. So that means perfection. This is something that is going to be sold. So for me, I have been raised up dirty. You see, for going to the shamba, you have to put fertilizer, you have to make the rows, you have to harvest, and the tiresome thing about farming is harvesting. No one will prepare you for harvesting. Harvesting is so tiresome, but the thing is now you will see that you have seen the results of your all your hard work. So I have been in a farm when there is sun. But now from the community that I come from Western, we try and go to the farm early in the morning. So by 9 we are out of the farm.
You're done.
Because the sun is scorching. you can't work
In
under those
environments.
Yeah, so and we are blessed that it rains and the sun is up at the same time, like on equal measures. So that's why we have like different many seasons of plants. So yeah, I have been brought up in a farming household, and for the kitchen garden, my mom tasked us for the children. We had 3 siblings. We used to plant kales. We used to have kales and used to have onions. You know, a long time ago, it's not like now you have to buy everything. And at that time, we did not come from a very well-off family. We had to work with the resources that we had. So we plant maize. We already have maize flour for ugali. We have skuma outside there. We have spinach outside there.
Food.
We have traditional vegetables. We have onions.
Yeah.
The only thing that we could now get is now for tomatoes. So you see, I was raised in a place where we had to be sufficient.
Oh yeah.
Now we have these things. We can only outsource on oil, cooking oil, and any other thing. But so I have grown dirty. That dirty thing
Has fed you.
You have to be dirty in a farm. You have to be dirty in a farm. But now farming for personally, now leave alone now for my family. Personally, now the indoor farming is so beautiful. You don't have to get dirty. We are not saying those ones who are in the farm who are getting dirty, they are not as good as those ones who are doing indoor. It's just the circumstances are different. But we want everyone to embrace that you can actually do large scale farming, you can do small scale farming, you can do any type of farming within your jurisdiction. Do not be limited by anything.
Yes.
Why are you limited to have an indoor plant? So in this panel, I have spoken that I have plants in my home. Do you have plants in your home?
For me, I have had a very bad relationship with the kitchen garden. I remember when I moved into a place where I had space, I tried doing okra. Why did I even do okra? But anyway, I tried doing okra, and they did not do so well. And I remember having this conversation with Jackie, and Jackie was like, "What did you not do? What did you not do?" But for me, I've had a very tricky relationship with farming from my backyard. And I just noticed because I'm never consistent. I plant something, I'll water it. I don't know when. I'm never very consistent. And I'm one person who gets bored really quickly. I can be enthusiastic about something, but once I get the hang of it, or once I do it more than 1-2 times, I get so bored. So the same mentality I have with farming in my backyard. I will start enthusiastic, ready to do the most, but then after some time, I really get really bored, and I even forget about the consistency. So that is the kind of relationship I've had.
So for you, Zippy?
Personally, I don't have any for now, but I'm trying to get some. It's so unfortunate to hear Fiona saying that some people are crying that their plants are dying, and personally I'm crying that my pets are dying.
Generation Z.
Imagine. But I will try. I feel more comfortable with pets more than plants, but I will try. Maybe I can manage both.
Yeah, so something that I am open to is now having the kitchen garden at my something that I want to do something that I want to try is now have the kitchen garden in my home, so that I can have more vegetable intake. And another thing for those ones who have kitchen gardens at their residence, now we know there's a time, seasons. Your kale can grow very fast and you have a lot. We are trying to curb food wastage. When you have a lot of it, you can offer to a friend, you can give a neighbor. You can even give a neighbor so that they can be interested in trying that kind of farming, so that we can also reduce on wastage. Do you think that also people who practice the kitchen gardens in their homes, do you feel like they have some food wastage?
It happens. For me, it happens more when I'm buying, when I'm going to the market and sourcing the food. But I can imagine, June, when I have planted something from scratch, and I get what you've just said. You guys used to go to the farm first hand. You go to the farm, you see how something grows. So imagine when you're harvesting, wasting the same food. So for me, I believe when it comes to indoor farming or even urban farming, it's a good way of curbing food waste and food loss, because you realize when people plant their own produce, they take care of it, and they even deal with the post-harvest losses efficiently. And like, have you ever gone to Mama Mboga and you buy your vegetables and you come back to the house and you don't prepare them instantly and they even sleep? You don't take care of them until the next day. I think we've all been there. Yeah. So the next day you realize when they're spoiled, you won't feel it that much. And like when you go to your shamba and you realize either your plants are getting destroyed or maybe you're harvesting and they're getting, there's a way I feel your own gardening, when you're doing your own farming, you'll be more cautious when it comes to food loss and food waste.
Yeah. I think there's so much you can do to control food waste. Well, a lot of food waste, and we are in December, a sherehe period. For those ones who do not know what sherehe is, it's celebration, and we just have our own ways. So one thing I can say is let us reduce on food waste. And to hold that thought, we will be going on a break, and we will come back and continue this conversation about indoor planting and how it benefits us and how we can be healthy together. Until the short break, see you.
I wanted to talk a little bit about our latest technology, which is the potato tissue culture. What I'm holding here is a mother plant. It's a Shangi mother plant. The mother plant comes from a platelet that we buy from a tissue culture laboratories and develop it and harvest the seedlings so that they can become potato. So this is a mother plant that is about 2 months old. So we have done some harvesting from here, you can see. And what we mean by harvesting is like we would harvest, this is a platelet. We would harvest another one. This one will probably give us about 10 of this. So this then will be grown into a media and into a tray like this. And after 4 weeks, this will be ready for transplant into the farm. So that will be planted and watered, and some foliar feed given and care taken in terms of disease prevention. So we do crop protection. We have a protocol of how we do the disease protection. And once it's ready, it looks like this. So this is your potato seedling. This seedling is ready for transplant. Once you plant it in your farm, then this seedling is able to give you between 12 and 18 tubers. The roots are very well formed, and we don't have any root being left on the media, because the media reserves the way the structure of the root is, and you can see all the roots are there, including the very small root hairs. Those root hairs are the ones that prevent the the seedling from getting shocked once you go and transplant. So to plant your potato, you plant it like the way we plant the potato seed tuber. You do your furrows, and between a line and a line will be 75 centimeters. Between a crop and a crop is 30 centimeters. You plant it, and then after 2 weeks you heal it, and after 1 month you heal it further, because it's by healing that you get your tubers. You heal it up to here, because this section will give you tubers. Once it's under the soil, it will give you tubers, and the roots will also give you tubers. So this we expect to give you minimum 10 tubers.
Can someone make a mother plant from that?
No, because a mother plant you must make from the Gymprazine platelet, so that it is pure. And this, because has been exposed to the environment, and this, when you harvest this, you make sure that it is it's not compounded. The leaves are not compounded. If you look at this, the leaves are already compounded. So if you try to make a mother plant from this, then what you harvest will not give you as good yield as they would when you have harvested from. And now, this seedling is 0 generation, because it hasn't touched the soil and it has come directly from the laboratory. Once you plant this, you get the tubers. The tubers are 1st generation. Tubers, you plant them, they give you 2nd generation. Then you plant them again. So this is what we call multiplication. Then you get your 3rd generation, which you sell to the farmer as certified seed.
Mm-hmm. So how many crops can a farmer get from the mother plant?
The mother plant, depending on how you look after it, because you must make sure that it doesn't age. You see, crops also have their physiology, so that if you leave this one to grow by itself without harvesting, it will think it has aged, and it will start developing tubers. So once it starts developing tubers, then you can't harvest from it anymore. But generally, a well looked after mother plant should give you a life of 4 months, 6 months. Yeah.
So how old is that one?
This is about 3 months old. Yeah, so we have done a lot of harvesting, and from one of these you probably harvest 500 seedlings from one mother plant.
How much does a seedling cost?
This seedling will cost you 10 shillings. And what I was telling you is that if you want to plant 1 acre, you buy 800 of this. That's 10 shillings, that's 8,000 shillings. And you plant it. After 2.5 months, you harvest the 1st generation seed. You plant it again. After another 2.5, you get your 2nd generation, and you're ready to go to the market with your Weah potato.
Talk of the maintenance, the crop maintenance of just the potato generally, for those people who probably want to venture into potato farming.
Okay. If you want to venture into potato farming, and ideally you want to sell Weah potato is a potato that you sell for people to eat. You can start from 2 areas. You can start from here. This will, for the first 2 seasons, you will not be able to sell anything, because you are developing your seed and you are multiplying your seed, and you bringing down your costs, because certified seed 50 a kilo cost about 60 shillings. And this is 10 shillings, but eventually after 2 seasons it will give you quite a number of tubers. You can also start from a certified seed, where you go and buy that bag of 50 kilos at 3,000 shillings, and you plant directly, and you get your Weah potato. The 1st generation seeds will look like this. This is Shangi, and you will get about 20% of your tubers will be this size. 80% of your tubers will be this side. This is the best seed size, because then that is what you plant. Your 20% you can sell it as Weah, or you can consume it yourself. This, you can see it has started sprouting. Shangi sprouts within 3 weeks after harvesting, and that's why most of the farmers prefer it, because then they're able to plant quickly. We have another variety, Unica. Unica is mainly used for chips, and it grows very big. That size will be your 20%, and you'll have another 10% this size, but this is your seed. So your seed will be this size. And this also takes a long time to sprout. It takes up to 2 months, 3 months to sprout. So it is good for the processors, because once they buy it, they can keep it before it sprouts. Because once you get a sprout, for example like this, then you can't use it for food. So we are also selling in addition to selling the seedling, we are also selling the seed potato. You can see what we are selling. This bag is 50 kilos, and that's the bag that we are selling at 3,000 shillings. And then if you want to buy less than 50 kilos, we'll sell to you at 65 shillings a kilo, and this is ready for planting. The sprouts are good, they're very uniform. Shaggy is very common with the bush farmers because it's easy to manage, disease resistant, and it's green.
This is a farmers media.
A farmers media.
We tell you the stories of African farmers.
Welcome, good people. Welcome back, and we are continuing our discussions about the benefits of indoor farming. And just before we continue, we are on radio, people. We are on radio. Can I hear whoop whoop? Whoop-whoop. Yeah, we are on radio, and you can download the Zeno app and search Farmers Media. You can find us on radio. You can listen to the previous episodes that we have aired, and you can listen to live briefings, continuing the discussions about agriculture, things that we do love most. And to continue, Fiona,
Yes.
you had seen that Mokio had mentioned something.
Yeah, Mokio, Robert Mokio, aquaponics expert. And he said, indoor plants are perfect in improving air quality for your home. Yes.
Yeah. Are back, and we are ready to continue these discussions about indoor plants and their benefits. And just to mention, Mokio had mentioned something, Fiona.
Yes, Robert Mokio, aquaponics expert. Thank you for your continuous support. He is always watching our shows. And Mokio commented and said, indoor plants are perfect in improving air quality of your house. Yeah.
Yeah, so you want that good air, you want that breeze. You know, a home is your solitude. You need to get yourself some indoor plants.
And again, before we forget, we are now an online radio.
Ah, yeah, people, we are on radio.
You can tell them more about it, how to get us.
Okay, so we are on the Zeno app. You can download the Zeno app on Apple Store. You can get it on Play Store. Ask people to get indoor plants. Now we want to talk about the practicality of getting an indoor plant and how you can be able to walk it through. Make sure that if today in December you have got yourself an indoor plant, will it be alive in January or in February? Can we look at those people who have done it? How well have they done it, and how can we improve our skills in managing indoor plants?
I think the other day I was just having a conversation with a friend, and we talked about why is Kenya not striving when it comes to farming. Why are people dying of hunger in Kenya? It shouldn't be like that. And he mentioned and said, you see, a country like China, with the disasters that they have faced as a country, it has messed up the environment to the point that they have no space for farming. So this country had no choice other than to adopt indoor farming, and it's one of the leading countries in the world that is practicing indoor farming. And you realize for them, it's so practical and it works for them because this is a country that has enough water. We all know an indoor plant doesn't have that privilege of rain.
Yeah.
It fully relies on you maintaining the same. So I think for them, they have the privilege of having enough water. We all know reality same way. In Kenya, there are some places where there's no water. So imagine you have plants on your balcony, you have things planted in your house, and you don't even have water to sustain yourself. How will you sustain these plants? A good example in Mombasa Road. When those plants were, when the flowers, I assume, the marigolds were being planted. And you know, marigold is a flower that can survive in any condition, but it doesn't need negligence. It's not being watered. Whatever they were trying to do was not practical because right now we are witnessing the plants dying. At first they were beautiful, like that was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, because if you travel abroad you realize you're walking down the streets, there are trees, there are flowers on the street, and it just makes the air so fresh, the environment so beautiful. So for me, I thought maybe Mombasa Road is adopting the expressway, it's adopting the same concept. Yeah. But apparently it was not practical because things are dying.
But I think also we have the privilege of that water because, okay, we are the ones who are causing this shortage of water at some point because of the climate change caused by the maybe cutting down of trees, those chemical emissions, but we are also privileged to have water, though not at every part of the country. But wherever we have that plenty of water, we can practice the same so that we can have that adequate food production.
Okay. What we're learning is plants are needy.
Plants are they're just like baby.
They are very needy.
The plant moms. Now we understand the plant moms because if you don't, it's just like you, June, as a human being. If you're not being fed well, you're not drinking water. It will even show on your skin. It will show on so many things. You're not drinking enough water. You're not eating a balanced diet. So the same applies to plants. If you see your plants dying, if you see the leaves discoloring or the leaves curling or the leaves even drying up, it just shows you this plant is lacking something.
Yeah, so one thing also we can tell our viewers is whenever you are getting a plant in your home, do a lot of research. We have learned the hard way as a country to see the expressway come from glamour, and now we are just seeing some green plastics because the plants died. So do a lot of research. Learn of the name of the plant. Do a lot of research, and because you could be watering the plants, but you're not watering the plants the right way. So when you have the information about the plant, when you have the right adequate information, you'll be able to take care of the plants very well. And also our plants, they speak to us. When you start seeing that a leaf has gone brown, is drying up, try and see there is something. There is something that is wrong with the plant. So try and be quick to fix the problem. So first we need to do a lot of research and know when to water our plants, how needy is the plant, and then from there we can work well to sustain these plants. Now we have talked about the indoors, and what for those ones who are having the kitchen gardens. You know, we cannot have like this succulent and the person who is having kales. They can't be have the same needs. How do we go about that? And at least now we have Zippy has had carrots. Yeah. She had told us about carrots that were very successful. So Zippy, for these plants that you have had previously, how needy were they? How frequent were you watering them? Were you adding any fertilizer to them? What were you doing?
Okay. Well, before they germinate, you're supposed to water a small portion. You are the bed for every day, in the morning and evening, even after they germinate. Then after like around 2 weeks, that's when we start the process of hardening off. Okay, hardening off is you reduce, it's either you give the plants, let me not call them the plants, the carrots, either you choose, you can water them in the morning and only like just once. You used to water twice, so you just water once. Then after some point, but for us, wherever I studied from, we used to water them even after they have grown up, they have the produce, so that they may not start cracking because of that dryness.
One thing I have learned from you is even when you can see the product, the result has come, you still water them so that they can have they can be of good health. Can we say plant health? Yeah. So now we have talked about having kitchen gardens and everything. How do we have the kitchen garden? Now, how do I have seen like someone use a sack? A sack in Swahili is gunia. Do we have like, how do we practice it?
I think those are just a few methods of urban farming, like the sack thing, and then they cut holes on the side and then you plant. But there's also a way you go about that. For me, it starts with the soil. This week is World Soil Day. It's on 5th of December. So we are just celebrating the soil, the kind of soil you choose, and how soil is associated with the final result. Because if you don't have a good soil, that means you will not have your produce. So even as you're going for these other options, the vertical gardens, the sack garden, the tire, you see even people planting in tires. What type of soil are you using? And who is installing it for you? Because we have professionals who do that, and they know the nini. They have studied the kitchen garden and the types of kitchen garden. So they even tell you when you're getting a tire, don't paint it, don't do this, because it will either affect the nature of your soil. So even for the sack kitchen garden, there's a way you install it. And you remember we were being told, like before you put your sand in the sack, you need like a pipe. You need a pipe, so that pipe will be in the middle of that sack, and then you put soil surrounding the pipe, and then the sack. And then so the purpose of the pipe is so that when you're watering, you water through that pipe.
It can go evenly.
Yeah. So for the types of kitchen garden, just have a professional install it for you. And there's the University of YouTube. If unajiamini, you can go to YouTube, you can come to our channels. We have these demos on some of the videos on our page. So subscribe and watch some of these videos. They will guide you on how you can create such types of kitchen garden.
Okay. And this information is on our YouTube channel, Farmers Media. So feel free to watch those videos. After this episode, you can teach yourself on different ways to actually have these plants in your home. And you have talked about something very important about soil.
Yes.
Soil education. People do not have soil education. So can you mention something about soil, different types of soils, and which one is the best for farming indoors?
So first things about soil is we always encourage farmers, before you start farming, do a soil test. Once you do a soil test, it will tell you the type of soil that you have, the pH values of the soil, the acidity of the soil. Once you do that, it will even guide you on what will work well on your soil. Because there are some plants that you realize, even in Kenya, as simple as you will realize, there are things that do well in central, there are things that don't do well in central, there are things that do well in western. So it's just why it's the climatic, it's the weather conditions in these different counties, and it is also the type of soil in these different counties. So first things you can do to know the nature of your soil is do a soil test. But we all know you cannot go and plant your crops in clay soil. It's a basic knowledge that loam does well when it comes to planting. You cannot plant in sand. So just do a soil test. It will determine so much when it comes to your soil.
Yeah, I think we should even have an entire episode talking about soil. Yeah, we need to, and it is for the Soil Day, which is coming very soon on the 5th. We can expand that.
Yes.
We can expand on the topic. And for farmers, for those ones who want practical lessons and do not have access to farms or any places to be demonstrated where they can be given any knowledge, you can come to Farmers Media. We have our offices here at Kitengela, and you can call us. You can reach out, and you can plan an appointment to meet us here, and we can give you more information on the same. Feel free to pass by to our offices, and we can give you more of this information. And just to talk about fun things, fun girls do. Yeah, maybe we can start with Zippy. What are you currently interested in? What is that thing that when you wake up today you have said, I would do? You are looking forward to doing it in your alone time.
Okay, first of all, before I come out of the house, I usually have at the back of my mind, I have a show that is Farm Girls. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to tell the other fellow ladies watching out there? And okay, it's December and being my birthday month. Okay, I have decided just when I was just seated here, I will gift myself with one plant that I will place it at my house.
All right.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to gift myself, and I'll be taking care of it.
Wow, that is so nice.
Yeah.
We have someone who is going to gift themselves a plant. And for Fiona.
Okay, you know something, June. Before I answer you that question, I want to put you on the spotlight. You are a newbie, and this is what we do for new people. So I want to get up close and personal with you, guys. I hope you are watching, because you're going to see more of June. So this is the chance to get to know her. If you miss it today, don't ask us next time. Who is that again? So June, what are you currently reading?
Currently, yes, I finished a book that I was reading. I am still scouting for another book. I was thinking of reading the 5 a.m. Club, but I do not wake up at 5 a.m. So I do not see. And it's a book that everyone is reading. Currently, I have transitioned into podcasts.
Okay.
Listening to podcasts. I am listening. Yesterday, I listened to the latest episode of a podcast called "So This Is Love" by Jules. Ooh. So it's where people talk about their love stories, or how they have suffered in the streets of Nairobi and across the globe.
It's the ghetto.
And they talk of the lessons that they have learned,
and
how they have discovered themselves. And yesterday I listened to an episode by a lady called Jules was hosting a lady called Wanjiri, and she was speaking of how she has discovered herself with her attachment styles in a relationship. She is anxious and she always wants to be validated. So for that is one of the podcasts I've listened to. I also listened to a letter to my younger sisters. It is a podcast about finances, about social life, about so many things, and women empowerment, talking about women and life. Something about that we are doing here is talking about women and farming.
Yeah, so, empowering women.
Yeah, empowering women in farming. And what I love to do in my private time, I love reading. I love following news online, seeing what other people. I am into communication, so I am interested in what other people are saying in the globe. So I follow news outlets, and I am glad that I'm here at Farmers Media to create change, to move a vision from a vision board to reality. So yeah, I am in media. So those are the things. And I love my family. I am a family girl.
Karibu sana. I think June has expounded on who she is in just a few words. So you now have a knowledge of who she is. Karibu sana. This is a place you will love. This is a place you will learn and grow. Everything agriculture. So, and guys, for the Farmers Media Radio, we are going to post more of that on our pages, so look out for that. We are going to tell you more information. We are going to post a link that you can click and it will lead you directly to the radio. So look out for that. And yeah, you were asking me something.
Yeah. What is something that you are interested right now? Something that excites you?
For me right now, something that excites me is just self-analyzing. I've been doing a lot of learning who I am, what keeps me going or what motivates me, and it's just self-analyzing and najita mkutano kidogo. Yeah, that's what I've been focusing on.
Something that excites me currently is home decor. And I'm just not specifically buying the decor, but seeing what is out and what is trending and what is beautiful. And currently everyone wants their home to be minimalistic. You know, Kitambo, we used to have when long time ago when we were at our grandparents' houses, we used to have the vitamba with the green vitambas with some flowers.
They have been plastered all over.
I think that was a trend of that time. Now we are the minimalistic people, just want their houses to be white, very small. There's few color pops, just minimalistic. Gen Z will show us things.
And let me tell you, on that June, let me tell you something. We are in that phase. For me, I feel it's a phase, and then it will fade out after some time. Yeah. Something else will come
something will always come out.
So for me, you realize, I remember even living alone, I used to be those people. I stuck in my madhogodhanio kila mahali. You
just want minimal
you don't want even plastic tins. Let me tell you something, guys. Kids will humble you. Kids will humble you. Once you have kids in the house, trust me, you're being a minimalistic. A child, you've put your two decors, a kid will break all of them. Back to the drawing board. So with kids, you'll have everything all over the place and you're okay. Smart go to sawa. So for you guys who don't have kids, live in that phase. Live.
See, we are still in the minimalistic era. We are still protesting
live in that phase
against clutter. We have a protest. Zippy and I, we have a protest against clutter. Yeah, but that is something that I am interested in. Something that I look forward to. I look forward to reading more books. I look forward to creating a big library. And I'm just trying to, I am in a transition period where sitting down and reading a book is not that, I do not have that luxury right now. But maybe in January, after I have settled down, I will now create a routine that will allow that.
Karibu sana, feel at home. Farmers is home to, we are now trying to encourage women and young people into farming. And the other day, the launch of, what is this fund? God. Mommy brain. I can't. The fund that Ruto launched.
Hustler Fund.
Hustler Fund. The other day I just did a poll on our social media platform. And I asked this question. Let me just read it out loud. With the launch of the Hustlers Fund, will agriculture be attractive to the youth? And it was a poll. And most people voted it will not. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts with this launch? Because his intention was because the youths are usually attracted to something that money is involved. So his argument was, if there's money involved in agriculture, if there's a place where youths can get funding, then it will attract them. Majority of them will get into farming. So we are youths here, we are young people. Do you think with this launch, will it attract more young people to get into farming?
The thought is, how many people are actually interested in farming right now? The number of people who are interested in farming, who need the fund, will they approach the Hustlers Fund? Will our farmers actually approach the Hustlers Fund? That is a question we need to know. We need to know if And you see, from how I have interacted with people, and yesterday in the evening, someone was just saying they want that money to see if they can access it. Mostly people are actually seeing ways they want to get access of this money with nothing planned. They just want to know, can I actually get there?
Yeah, it's an easy way. It's just an advanced Fuliza.
Yes, so the question is, can also Hustlers Fund prioritize farmers, youths who are into farming, and say, okay, we have the Hustlers Fund. 30% of this fund will go towards youths who are in farming. That is something that they should have done. Like have policies put, not that anyone can access the funds, but can we group it in? Can it go to agriculture? Can it go to tourism? Can it go to this and this entertainment? So that now they can see if they are meeting the needs
of the because the question is you, June and ZP, you're both young people, and I'm sure you interact with young people on a daily. Do you think if there's a way they can access funds, will it make them venture into agriculture, or there's more?
Youths will access funds when the first thing is they're curious to know if they can actually access the funds. So once they get it, now they start making the decision. Okay, now I have the funds. What can I do with it? But we want to have a youth that is goal oriented, and they say before they get the funds, this is what we want to do. So for us, our job actually is to make more youths come into agriculture.
And how do we go about it? Because you realize most young people usually say agriculture is boring, agriculture is a side hustle, agriculture is So how do we ensure we have a platform? And if you were to talk to someone younger, if you were to talk to someone out there, how would you encourage them to get into agriculture?
I would encourage them to start with that kitchen garden, this urban farming, which is not, okay, as they call it, tiring. I think so that will give them another view of things. Like, it's not about getting that. There is a fact about soil that I saw, and it was saying soil is not that. Yeah, soil is not that, because at the end of the day, you're gaining something. Agriculture, it's just like any other business. I don't know how people see it, but it's just like any other business, because at the end of the day, I'm getting my cash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another way, maybe Fiona, that we can actually lure, the word is lure.
Yes. Yes.
Young people into farming. You see, like how we are talking about indoor plants, and now there is a term called plant mom.
Yes.
We need to have like catchy things and catchy phrase that will trend to lure them. We are also marketing agriculture.
Yes.
How do we get them excited? You see, for them now, they will go on their Instagram and they would put on their bio, I am a plant mom. So do we look for other ways where we can make agriculture look interesting to them and something of the hype at that time? So also for us who are in the industry, we need to look for those creative and innovative ways to actually get them into agriculture. We also, all of us, we have a role to play. We need to stop having agriculture look like a tedious work.
Yes.
You know, when we think of agriculture, we look for farming. You see, we are looking at an old man who is a mechoka, you see, and they are farming with a djembe. But we need to make it more we need to romanticize.
Make it attractive.
Farming.
The president claimed make it attractive for the youth.
Yeah, we need to make it attractive. We need to make people to see if they have like livestock. How beautiful would that be?
And agriculture is cool. For me, I'm usually so impressed when you meet a young man and they tell you, I'm a poultry farmer and I'm actually doing like 70 cuckoos. So there's some coolness in young people getting into agriculture.
Yeah. So we have a role to play. We need to romanticize agriculture. And by the way, when you talk about agriculture, we're not talking about only farming that involves a farm. We are talking about livestock. We are talking about poultry. And do you think it is doable for us to have poultry indoors?
Yes, actually, it there are some chicken which are just strictly bred indoors, and there are some that once in a while they're taken to the field. So it's doable, and it's actually a good way to get into, other than any crop farming. You can get into poultry. We've seen that being done by so many young people. There are so many young people who are raising cuckoos, and they're even selling them. They're doing it as agribusiness. So it's doable.
Okay. Do you think the landlords in this country would allow for such things?
For some cuckoos, I've seen a few people living in apartments, and they have 3-4 cuckoos in the balcony. Especially now that we are heading towards the festive season, a lot of cuckoos will be slaughtered. So it's a good way of just buying. And I remember there's a time we went to Kajiado. You remember? And I bought cuckoos, and Zippy was like, "Sasa nitazipeleka wapi?" And I bought like 2 cuckoos because they were selling them at a throwaway price. So it's just start by buying that 1 cuckoo and taking it home, and before you know it, it will multiply.
I think Fiona and a try.
Akina try. Thank you for noticing.
But someone like Jackie, she never knew that cuckoo takes water. And then I was like, seriously?
The host of Evening Drive, we are putting you on this.
Imagine Jackie, surely. I was like, mapea kuku maji? Kwani kuku inakunywa maji? Was like, Jackie, seriously, how can that animal survive without water? Then she was like, I'll be giving it. Then after placing the water for the chicken, she went back and looked whether it has taken the water. Like, some of us need to be really educated.
Women who are listening.
In this era of social media, like everything is at your fingertips. So long as even if you don't have a smartphone, there's a way. There's so many farming groups. We have Africa Farmers Club. I hope you guys have joined. We have a Farmers Media where we share so many different things, agriculture. So it's always a good way of just being in touch with if you're in the social media era. Google these things, search for groups, get motivated.
Follow Farmers Media, will get that knowledge that you want.
Women who are listening to us, side notes.
Like you're calling them for women.
Side notes. We need to meet. You might attend. We need to have this discussion. Please, kuku inakunywa maji.
Just like if you can take care of your plants in the house, what will prevent you from taking care of something that is walking around? It eats, it drinks water, it does all those things.
We are learning, and something we will not shame those ones who have little knowledge and have different practices away from ours. But we will be here to guide them and give them sufficient knowledge and to tell them that actually everything is doable. You can visit our pages or on all social media platforms. Get this information. Learn 1, 2, 3 things about farming, and we have endless videos on our YouTube channel. Feel free to watch them. Just a reminder, we are on the Zeno app, we are on radio, and please feel free to download the app, feel free to listen to our episodes and even to the music, and you can even suggest on what music you want to listen to. At least now we are on radio.
We are, and for me, I usually think radio is more easier than being an online TV, but I just realized there's so much pressure in radio. Like you can talk endless. If you love talking, there are people who can talk, and so if you love talking, then radio will be a good place. And on radio, we will share so many things agriculture related. You will be able to listen to us wherever you are. You can imagine just plugging in your earphones and just getting so much knowledge on agriculture. It will be a guide for you to practice so many things. And we are here. If you want to visit us, you can come see what we are doing and be inspired. Who knows?
Okay. To go back to the topic about indoor plants. There was one benefit that Mwakio had mentioned about good quality air. Do you think there is any other benefit apart from air
For me, indoor farming is just it's a good way of increasing food production. That is a good benefit because we are in a place where there's food scarcity, and I saw in the show people have resolved to eating insects. So you can imagine if you have unlimited supply of vegetables in your home, then that will curb hunger, that will increase food production. It's also a good way of learning. It's a good way of learning. Like we've said, we are having a generation that doesn't appreciate where food comes from. And that's why we incur for a lot of food wastage. So you can imagine it's a way of teaching young. It's you start them young. You start teaching a child as young as 3 years old, the skooma you're eating comes from this and this place. It's also a good way of eating fresh food. You know where your food comes from. There was this story going around, people are eating mboga from sewages. So you can imagine you've planted something of your own and you're monitoring the growth. And also, it's a sustainable agriculture. We don't use fertilizers. We don't use pesticides. So it's it's good agricultural practices. So it's a sustainable way of growing vegetables, of growing crops. So it will not mess with it will not pollute the environment.
Yeah. And Zippy,
Yes.
do you have any other benefit?
Yeah, another benefit of indoor planting, I think so it's a way of stress. It can relieve your stress. Yeah, because when maybe you're from work, you are stressed, or you just from anywhere else, then you go, you find probably you have that indoor plant, probably a flower, then you're supposed to water it, you're supposed to see how it's going, then so you see it's kind of engaging, so you start those stress then you look nazo, they are just disappearing just because of the engagement you are having with the indoor plants that you have in your house.
Yeah, so it is therapeutic, and it is a way to calm you down.
Yeah, with a world that is struggling on mental health. Imagine.
Yeah.
It's a good way of just relaxing and unwinding.
That is a good stress reliever. Coming back to your plants.
We have a plant over here, June. We have a plant on your studio.
Yeah.
So this is an indoor plant.
Yeah. It is an indoor plant, and it looks like it almost has a snake plant feel.
Or the texture.
Yeah, the texture, and even for the pattern. So, and who waters these plants?
We are in your studio. How are you? Like coming to your house and you're telling us what are these plants?
Yeah. Anyway, we have a plant here. You see, it is very green and leafy, so we have been doing a great job in actually maintaining it. And just to check on, we have people who are commenting on Facebook. Maybe Fiona, you can read us the comments, and we can see the interaction, and we can get back to them and see what they're saying.
So guys, if you've been living under a rock, we are talking about the benefits of indoor farming. And we have Christine Mtindi, she's saying, good morning, what a wonderful show. I'm Team University of YouTube, and you can plant fresh herbs which are good and medicinal. Yeah. And you realize that herbs, there's this scent that herbs create. Like rosemary. You can imagine if it's at the window of your kitchen, it brings that scent, even basil. But so it's a good way of because I've seen, and herbs, they take a very short period to grow.
Yeah.
Like they take 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So you can imagine it's just a good way to start. You put some herbs on. These are just simple ways on which you can plant indoor plants. You can do the herbs, and the herbs are medicinal. They're good for your teas. If you're living the holistic life, So you can, because for me, I view such things as holistic way of living. You have your herbs, like you're so sustainable. I come to your house, you have your danias there. Who are you?
And I think one thing about, now that you have mentioned danias, you see, danias are very market friendly. in terms of pricing. Like you can have a lot of dania for little money.
Yes.
So you see, and another thing, when you buy a big bunch of dania from the market, most of it goes to waste.
Yes.
So can we try and actually plant them in our homes?
Yeah.
So when you need something, you need dania, you just pluck.
From where you've planted,
and then you put in your food instead of now, because a lot of dania goes to wastage.
Yeah, it goes to waste, and right here at Farmers, we are trying to fight food waste. So you don't go about wasting your food. Like June has said, just plant them so that you can be using whatever you want.
Yeah, and then also you can have like what Christine has said. You can actually plant your own herbs. You can plant your own dania. You can plant your own basil, and these ones actually they are very easy. Just take a cup. Put the soil.
And someone has asked you are talking about all these indoors plants. How do you plant them?
Yes. And that is a very, very, very important question. We have talked about different types of soil, and we have the best one, Fiona, which is the best type of soil to.
You can use loam soil, and Zippy has also planted tomatoes. How did you go about it? As you can just tell our audience.
Okay. Personally, I have 2 small containers, then just put soil. I didn't put anything else, just soil. So far, I have not added any fertilizer. Then I placed my 2 seeds there. Then you should be consistent in watering the plant, the 2 seeds, until they germinate. Then after they germinate, you will see how you're going to go about it. You can start, maybe after some time you see the progress of the plant, you can start the process of hardening off.
Yeah. And I think one thing our viewers need to know is get aerated containers. Like if you're using maybe, let us take an example of a Blue Band container. The Blue Band has ended and you want to recycle.
Yes.
Yeah, which is actually good. We advocate for recycling. You put some holes at the bottom of the tin, and then put your loam soil. You can put your seedling or the seed, and then you water them. Another thing is, if you are having these indoor plants and you have the need of putting fertilizer, please use the organic ones. For example, the pigs manure.
Yeah, you can,
like cow dung. Use the natural ones. Do not use the ones specifically for large scale. No, the ones that are sold at Agrovets. You can try and use maybe the chicken droppings. Use those one. Use the natural one. Try to avoid and use the manufactured ones. Use the natural ones. But I know if you just use the soil, good soil, that is loam soil, and you water it and then put them in a light. Or if they're not on your balcony, or you do not have the privilege of having a balcony, direct your plants where
good lighting.
Lights can get to them. So that you see, also for germination, light should be there.
Okay.
For this to happen, we need lights.
The next question, Mr. Noah Nasiali asks, this is great, thank you. Where can one get the right indoor plants?
Okay, there are many plants. I want to call them arcades. You see, when you're traveling, and there are people who are selling plants. They are on at the roadside, and you see them watering plants. They have seedlings and they have everything. You can buy those ones that they are in a seedling. You can buy those ones, and if you're trying for consumption, you can buy the seeds and get someone who is a professional to
guide you.
If that is in a sack, and Fiona had mentioned it has a pipe system. Get a professional. But if it is just a plant for aesthetics, buy them from a plant arcade, and then ask how you can take care of them, and also go on YouTube and watch videos of how to take care of your plants, so that you can have more information on how to take care of those plants. Try and get more information. Visit your friends who have plants. Have the conversation about how are they taking care of their plants. So buy them a planter kit, and also you can buy the seedling from Agrovet. And also here at Farmers, we have an extensive information about farming and plants. So you can visit our social media platforms and see what we have talked about, and even our Facebook group where you can interact with other farmers called Farmers Media. So you can be able to learn 1, 2, 3 things, and you can post your question there, and someone will be able to respond. You can also call us. We will be able to give you the right information, and feel free to stop by our offices as well. Yeah.
I believe a number of people are asking how they go about maintaining, and we've talked about that, maintaining the indoors plants. They're going about how you can plant the herbs and spices. So for me, I feel personally there's one tip I read or learned somewhere where when you've bought your herbs, do not throw away the tips, the roots. You know the dania, sometimes we buy our dania and it has the roots. And we don't cook the roots. We just cut them and throw them away. Don't throw them. There's a post that was shared on our pages like a while ago where how to grow your herbs in water.
I actually wanted to ask, can we grow herbs in water?
So there's a way you can propagate them in water and you can watch them grow. So those are just a few examples on how you can go about it. So it's a good thing you can try on your own person. The weekend is here. Just try. People are indulging a lot. People are cooking a lot. So instead of throwing them away, it's a good way of, as people are saying, you know, the joke that goes around, it's December, you're sleeping while dressed. So that when that phone call rings, anytime you're ready. And we know there are people who don't have that because either they don't have friends. So when you're stuck in the house, do not feel alone. It's a therapeutic way of doing things. Grow your plants, watch them grow. Don't waste away this December.
A lot is planned with this December.
You're sleeping with your clothes.
You can as well start your indoor plants journey in this December. At least Zippy, we know Zippy has said she's going to get herself one plant.
I'll gift myself with one plant.
I will come see I will come see if it's growing. I will personally come. Maybe I'll be motivated to do it, but I'll personally come to see if it's growing. And guys, if you're watching, keep commenting. If you have any query, comment on our pages. Ask those questions. We are here to answer them. Or you can even go to our page and you can talk to us.
And we actually have two websites. We have one for a Farmers Media, and we have for a Farmers CBO. For a Farmers Media is for the shows that we do air, and for a Farmers CBO, it talks about more of the journey with a farmer. So if you also want information about farming, you can go to our website, a Farmers CBO. You will get extensive knowledge about farming. And please do not shy away from starting your farming journey. Start it. You can start it indoor, and maybe later with the experience you can expand it to an outdoor. And you will be calling us to give us a testimony of how you grew from an indoor farmer to an outdoor farmer. Yes, yeah. Do you have any other remarks about indoor farming?
I'm glad we've had this conversation. Probably it has impacted someone somewhere. And for me, I'm just motivated how other countries have already adopted to this. So I also see Kenyans, we are catching up, and I hope there comes a time where there's food for everyone. No one is lacking. And guys, we've talked for 2 hours. Who are we?
That it is information that people need to know, and this is something that we are glad that we are doing right now, giving people information that they can start this journey. It is not rocket science, people. It is not rocket science, and we can be able to start our journey, our indoor plants. And kindly feel free, for those ones who already have indoor plants, share your experiences. We can learn from one another. Share this video with your loved ones so that we can also hear on their interactions with farming at home. And now, just to speak about failures that come with indoor farming. Have you failed
Yeah, I think every good thing has a bad side to it. And for me, I believe when it comes to indoor farming, if it's not done well, you will face so many disappointments. Because this is a method that is limited to so much. It's limited to rainwater, it's limited to direct sunlight, it's limited to so much. So it needs you to put that extra effort to maintain your plants indoors. So I think the advantage of indoor farming is that the plants are limited to direct sunlight, the plants are limited to direct rainfall. So you need a good source of water to maintain the plants, and they also need some extra attention.
Yeah. So we have learned that we need to put our plants where there is direct sunlight, where sunlight can be able to get to the plants. We need to water them. We need to care for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Plants are needy.
Plants are needy, and guys, let us adopt to some of these practices. These are good agriculture practices. Let us adopt. It will be a good way of sustaining our environment. China is already doing it, and it's leading in the world. And such countries, they will not face issues like hunger. So if Kenya, we can adopt the same, we will come to a place where we will even we will be able to mitigate climate change. So let us adopt to these practices, and who knows? Yeah.
Something might change.
Something might change.
We have talked to the youth, and we do not want to sound like we are only advocating for the youth to venture into the indoor farming. Do you think older people are actually practicing indoor farming? For those who are not, are they interested?
Okay, there is something. When you go at someone's house, you can find that indoor plant, but most of them, they are not aware they are practicing agriculture and some farming in their homes, but they have those plants, but they have no idea of what they have there.
So you're saying it's happening?
It's happening.
But maybe they don't have the vast information on what they are doing.
Yeah. They're just there. They're just for beauty, but they don't know. They don't have that information about whatever they have in the house.
Yeah, because it's been practiced for ages. You realize even back in rural areas, women are still doing the kitchen gardens. Yeah. Women are still planting indoor crops. It has just been happening. It's just that, the way we sophisticate some names. So someone has just come and advanced it. And countries like China, they have seen how practical or how it can work.
Yeah. So for older people, we are trying to convince our parents to join the indoor.
Yeah, they can adopt to these modern ways of farming because you realize there has been this debate where young people are moving from rural setups to urban setups. So the rural setups are left to our parents, our grandparents, so they can utilize those left lands. They can utilize so much back at home.
Yeah. I don't think I can be able to convince my grandma to venture into indoor farming, but mostly indoor farming is for those ones who do not have access.
Yeah, access to land or space.
And considering at these economic times, getting land is very difficult and it's very costly. But we're just saying you can plan yourself to get land, but before then you should not miss out on farming just because you do not have a farm. Will we ever get to a place where you see the way rooftops of apartments have got wire lines and people? Will we ever get to this place where they're creating either the parking space or the rooftops, and we have vertical skuma wikis everywhere? Will you ever get there? We can start the conversation now. It takes one person to start the conversation, and with the right people, and we are the right people. At Farmers Media, we are the right people to start this conversation and say we can change our styles or our way of living. We can now have this vertical farming in our in our estates.
Yes.
We need to start this conversation, and we will meet with the right people, and even with policymakers and these landlords, we will meet with them and say, we can change the way we are living. This is a better way of living, and can we try it?
Mama Mboga will not be out of business.
Mama Mboga will not be out of business for the reason that not all of us will have the same commitment. We are very different people. What I am interested in, Fiona, you can't be interested in the same things as I am. So you will find one neighbor will venture into the indoor plant lifestyle, and the next one does not have a time.
Buying.
It's comfortable, so it is a win-win for all of us. Yeah, the Mama Mboga will not go out of business, but now all of us will be embracing a better way of living.
Yeah, we'll be embracing a sustainable form of agriculture. Yeah. It's we hope to get there someday, 2030. We hope we are coming.
And do you think that the indoor farming can it be used for generating income, or is this just sustaining a family?
It can be used too. It can be used too, because you realize if you venture into that type of farming and you perfect it and you do it so well, you'll be able, so many people will buy from you, because it is an assured way you're buying fresh produce. If someone comes to my home and have invested in indoor farming, they will be comfortable buying from me because they know the source of their produce. So it's a good way of earning extra, and it's a good way of earning money.
Yeah. Interesting. I would really want to meet people who have generated income from their indoor farming. I would really want to meet with them, have this conversation.
Yeah, see how, and even through installation, because I see there are people who post on our Africa Farmers Club pages where they do installation of kitchen gardens. That is just a good way, a way of earning income from it. If you install to 10 people, you've created your 30,000,
Yeah, that is true. So we should look at different ways we can start indoor farming, and they come with beauty. We just mentioned about aesthetics, but we want to talk about the beauty of having green plantations on your balcony, in your house, in your kitchen.
Imagine just visiting a friend and you see they have a garden created somewhere and it's a green, it's lush. Trust me, it will put you in a place where I should also start. And they tell you benefits of I don't buy my vegetables, I don't buy my onions, my tomatoes. You just realize how much they're saving and how much, it puts you in a place where you admire.
Yeah. Beauty. There's something about calmness in seeing green things. People do not talk about this very much, but if you are to be asked, maybe someone asked ZP, do you want to stay in a place where it's green, or do you want somewhere that is dry? Where would you prefer?
The green place. Obvious.
So you can see that the greenery will also provide a calming effect. People would want to visit you more often, so you'll be having your friends over because they feel like, Fiona's place is so calming and soothing. So your loved ones would also enjoy visiting you, and they would enjoy being in a place of calmness. And in Fiona's words, living a holistic lifestyle.
It's a cool lifestyle. And you just look cool. Imagine just doing your garden. You just look like where you're in another era.
And to finalize on things, can we mention of those plants that can actually be grown at home?
For me, I always go with, and we've shared this some time back on our page, a few plants that grow so quickly, and you can do them at the comfort of your backyard. You can do kales, you can do spinach, you can do the carrots Zippy was talking about, you can do beetroot, you can do different types of herbs. They also do well at the comfort of your backyard, and you can do them organically. You don't need fertilizers, you don't need pesticides. You just need your dedication, your time, and maybe just watering and consistency.
Okay. And for our viewers, we want you to participate in this discussion, and even for our group, where you can post, you can have your independent posting. Maybe you can take photos of your indoor plants and share with us and say hi with hashtag #FarmGirls, and show us that you actually do have these plants in your home, and we can continue this conversation, and you can tell us your challenges, your triumphs, and what you have learned. So feel free to participate in this conversation and put a hashtag of FarmGirls and indoor plants in our homes. And just to continue, you had mentioned of different types. We have talked of now those ones that we can consume, but now for those ones for aesthetics of beautifying a home, which kind of plants can one put in their home?
You start by reminding us the ones you have in your house. I think those are good examples.
I think you can put a Montessera, you can put a snake plant, you can put a succulent. There are different types of succulents. There are those ones that have flowers, like this one is a succulent. So, and for those ones who are starting, I would recommend you start with a succulent. It's less needy.
Oh, it's easy to maintain.
It is very easy to maintain. So you can also have a succulent. And for the leafy ones, you like even for the Montessera, you have to be very cautious with it, because it can die very easily. It can dry very easily. If you overwater it, it will die. Like I know people think when you have a plant, you have to water it every day. Every time you see it, you just put water. No. Do not overwater it. You put little amount of water daily. You can spray the water on the leaves. The leaves also need love.
Okay.
Yeah, spray the water on the leaves. Not only on the roots, but spray the water. We talked about a plant bath. So yeah.
See who is speaking a plant mom. You guys, we have a plant mom in the house.
You can take it. Some like to take it. They open their shower and let the water run on the plant. That is a plant shower.
Okay.
Or if you do not have a shower, you can just take water with a jug and now pour it continuously from on top of the plants, dripping down to the plants.
Oh. Yeah. Hey, plants need TLC, guys. Guys, they need tender love and care.
They need tender love and care. Any final remarks?
Okay, for me, I want to tell those living in urban areas, make use of those balconies. Don't have a balcony there empty, and you can be able to plant some things there. Like usununue kila kitu, from greens, onions, tomatoes, those small things, you should be getting them from that balcony of yours. It's very easy. You can get them, and within a very short time. Yeah.
Okay. Fiona, any last remarks?
For me, I think we should, as farmers, we should be open-minded to adopt to these urban methods of farming. And we should be open-minded to also adopt to indoor farming, as much as we do it a lot on large scale. Smallholder farmers, you can also, this is an option you can try, and if it worked for China, it can also work for us.
Yeah.
And let us utilize our lands. Let us utilize the spaces we have. Until we do that, we will be able to get to food security.
Okay. Thank you so much for everyone that tuned in to listen to this episode about the benefits of having indoor plants. There are so many benefits of having indoor plants, and please do not shy away from starting your farming journey in your home. And let us know. Keep us updated. Share your experiences. Share where you also even got your plants. So because others are asking where they could get the plants, so share with us where you got them, and we can know how your journey has gone. And today we want to thank you for tuning in. You can find us on all our social media platforms called Farmers Media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Follow us, kindly follow us, share our content, interact with us, ask us questions, and we will be getting to you and responding to them. And also we have our radio channel on the Zeno app. Feel free to download the Zeno app and listen to our episodes.
And we will share proverb of the day. And when you wait for tomorrow, it never comes. When you don't wait for tomorrow, it still comes. So this is your chance to start that indoor plant, that indoor crop today.
Thank you. Zippy, last remarks. Do you have a proverb?
I think so, that's enough. Okay. Yeah. But I promise, next Farm Girls, I'll give you the proverb. Okay, I promise. Yeah.
And maybe next Farm Girls, we will be getting dirty somewhere. Until next time, bye.